वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जायमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 16, text number 28, chapter entitled Krishna chastises the serpent Kaliya. Yat yat shira na namate anga shate karshishna tat tat ममर्द खरा दंड धरा अंग्रिपाते शिणायुषः भ्रमतः उल्बणम् आस्यत आस्रिका नस्तः बमन परमा कश्मलम आप नागः। यज्जचिरो न नमतिंग शतैकशेषणा तन तन ममर्द कर दंड दरो नृपाते क्षीणायुषो भ्रमत उल्बणमास्यतोन्श्रे नस्तो वमन परम कश्मलमापनागः। यज्जचिरो न नमतिंग शतैकशेषणास् तन तन ममर्द खर दंड दरो नृपाते क्षीणायुषो भ्रमत उल्बणम् आसयोन्श्रे नस्तो वमन परम कश्मलम् आपनागः। यज्जचिरो न नमतिंग शतैकशेषणा तन तन ममर्द कर दंड दरो नृपाते क्षीणायुषो भ्रमत उल्बणमास्यतोन्श्रे नस्तो वमन परम कश्मलमापनागः। यज्जशिरो न नमतिंग शतैकशेषणास् तत्तद् ममर्द कर दंड दरो नृपाते क्षीणायुषो भ्रमत उल्बणमास्यतोन्श्रीन् नस्तो वमन परम कश्मलमापनागः। तत्तात्ममर्धकरदण्डधरो गृपातये श्रीनायितोर्ममरोल्मनमास्यतोषेन् नस्तो वमन परमकश्मलमापनाग माताजी यजचिरो न नमते न सतैकशेषनास् तन् ममर्धकरदण्डधरो गृपातये श्रीनायिष भ्रमदोल्बनमास्यतोन् नस्तो वमन परमकश्मलमापनागः यद्यद् whichever शिरः heads न नमते would not bow down anga my dear King Parikshit Shatekasheshna of him who had 101 heads Tattat those Mamarda trampled down Khara on those who are evil Danda punishment Dhara the Lord who exerts Angripate with the blows of his feet Shina Ayushaha of Kaliya whose life was becoming depleted Brahmataha who was still moving about Ulbanam terrible Asyataha from his mouth Ashtrika blood Nasta from his nostrils Vaman vomiting Parama extreme Kashmalam trouble Apa experienced Nagaha the serpent. Translation. My dear king, Kaliya had 101 prominent heads, and when one of them would not bow down, Lord Sri Krishna, who inflicts punishment on cruel wrongdoers, would smash that stubborn head by striking it with his feet. Then, as Kaliya entered his death throes, he began wheeling his heads around and vomiting ghastly blood from his mouth and nostrils. The serpent thus experienced extreme pain and misery. No purpose. We go to the next verse. Tasyakshibirgaralam udmata shirasu yat yat samunnamati nishvasattu rushosche nrityam padanunomayam damayam babhava pushpai prabhujitaiveha puman puranaha. Translation. Exuding poisonous waste from his eyes, Kaliya would occasionally dare to raise up one of his heads, which would breathe heavily with anger. Then the Lord would dance on it and subdue it, forcing it to bow down with his foot. The demigods took each of these exhibitions as an opportunity to worship him, the primeval personality of Godhead, with flowers, showers of flowers. Text 30. Tachitra tandava virugna fana sahasro raktam mukher urubamam dripabhagna gatraha spritva charachara gurum purusham puranam Narayanam tam aranam manasa jagamaha. Translation. My dear King Parikshit, Lord Krishna's wonderful, powerful dancing trampled and broke all of Kaliya's 1,000 hoods. Then the serpent, profusely vomiting blood from his mouth, finally recognized Sri Krishna to be the eternal personality of Godhead, the supreme master of all moving and non-moving beings, Sri Narayan. Thus, within his mind, Kalia took shelter of the Lord. Purport by disciples of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In volume 1, chapter 16 of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Srila Prabhupada points out that whereas previously Kalia was vomiting poison, now his poison was exhausted and he began to vomit blood. Thus, he has been cleansed of the vile contamination within his heart that had manifested as serpent's venom. The word smitva, remembering, is very significant here. The wives of Kalia were actually serious devotees of Lord Krishna. And according to Acharyas, they had often tried to convince their husband to surrender to him. Finally, finding himself in unbearable agony, Kalia remembered his wife's advice and took shelter of the Lord. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains that Kalia's arch rival had traditionally been Garuda, the carrier of Vishnu. But now Kalia realized that he was fighting an opponent who was thousands of times stronger than Garuda and who therefore could be only the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, Kalia took shelter of Lord Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Vasindubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrind. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we find in this particular verses how Kalia is getting purified. just as somebody has to undergo the process of purification, even Kaliya is undergoing this particular process of purification, where for him purification means all the poison coming out. And Krishna is using the hard way to purify Kaliya. As serpents are supposed to be very vicious, envious, so Kaliya was like that he was not allowing anyone to come to this lake of Yamuna, and Krishna had to use this particular method to purify Kaliya of the poison. And the way Krishna did was wonderful. Krishna danced on the hoods of Kaliya, giving pleasure to the residents of Vrindavan, to the residents of the heavenly planets. Everyone enjoying the dance. Simultaneously, Kaliya was getting purified. And now we find that it's almost out of all the poison. And at this moment, he is remembering the words of his wife. So sometimes we as devotees also, we understand that, we hear the good advices, what to be done and what not to be done, but sometimes we don't realize that, when we don't take it so seriously. It's only when we just are put in a very awkward situation, then we try to remember those words. So similarly for Kaliya, his wives, Nagapatnis, they were devotees of the Lord, and then they were regularly instructing him, but Kaliya never paid any heed to this advice. But then when actually Krishna used this method of just smashing his 101 hoods, then Kaliya finally remembered the advice of his Nagapatnis, and then he decided to surrender himself. In the purport where Srila Prabhupada's quote is there, it says, Kaliya realized that he is fighting an opponent much more stronger than Garuda. And then he realized that he can none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. Srila Prabhupada mentions many times that, who is a first-class devotee? A first-class devotee is a person who, just by hearing, understands that this world is a place of misery and I should surrender. The second-class devotee, he sees around everywhere there is misery, then he sees and then he surrenders. Third class, he has to actually experience, and then he surrenders. And a fool is fourth class, who doesn't even understand that. Gives an example of a thief also, same thing. So ultimately, one has to come to the level of a first class devotee. A person who, just by hearing from the words of the Acharyas, understands and applies all the principles of devotional service in his life. That's why this process of hearing and is given, where we come for Bhagavatam classes and we hear what you are supposed to do and what you are not supposed to do. And an intelligent person just sits, hears, and he doesn't have to experience that. Experience is already there. People have experienced it, and just by hearing those words, then one applies that and then follows the instructions of this Acharyas. So that's what Srila Prabhupada does in his various purports. He just tells us the real nature of this material world and inspires us to take shelter of the Lord's holy name by taking shelter of his of the Acharyas, the great devotees of the Lord. So today being disappearance day of His Grace Srila Ishwara Puri, I was thinking that I can take out some time today and just share with you whatever I have heard and understood, and by which I can purify my existence. So there are lots of things that we can learn from this particular personality, Srila Ishwara Puri, who was the foremost of the disciples of Shripad Madhavendra Puri. In fact, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita extols the glories of Srila Ishwara Puri in his pages of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions how Shripad Madhavendra Puri Actually, he is the person who introduced in this Gaudiya Sampradaya the law of Gopi separation for Krishna. Till that time, nobody would even specifically mention about this particular aspect. It was Sripad Madhavanapuri who actually propagated this. In fact, he is supposed to be the root of this particular method, where it's extolling the glories of the love of the Gopi separation for Krishna. It is said that Krishna Kaviraj Goswami mentions that he is actually the sprout, and the sapling is Srila Ishwara Puri. And then the trunk came out, and that trunk is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and from where all the branches, different from branches. So His Holiness Radhana Swami Maharaj, one of his lectures, he was mentioning that what is the contribution of Sripad Madhavendrapuri Puri is this particular aspect of love in separation, and this particular love in separation of the gopis for the residents, that is the residents of Vrindavan for Krishna. This particular thing is a contribution of Sripad Madhavendrapuri Puri, and this was propagated by Ishwar Puri and then to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually distributed throughout the world through his associates. So Ishwar Puri actually was born in a place called as Kumarhatta in the month of Jeshta on the full moon day. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions how Ishwar Puri was very faithful to his spiritual master at all times, and more so at a time when Sripad Madhavendrapuri Puri was performing his pastime of leaving this body from this material world. And it's mentioned that how when Sripad Madhavendrapuri Puri was on his deathbed, there is a particular incident which took place, which is also for us to learn how a disciple should be towards his spiritual master. So when he was on his deathbed, Madhavendrapuri Puri was just remembering the Lord in separation, and was crying out, Ki, oh Lord Krishna, now you have left Mathura. What can I do? How can I leave? Why you left me? So he was crying in separation from Lord Krishna. And that time, Ramchandra Puri, one of the disciples of Madhavendrapuri Puri, came there. And Ramchandra Puri, he saw that his spiritual master is crying, and he had that arrogance of instructing his spiritual master, which is the thing which one should not do. He just had the audacity to instruct his spiritual master and tell him that, my dear Gurudev, why are you crying for Krishna? In fact, you are a spirit soul, full of knowledge and bliss. Be peaceful and just meditate on Brahman. So on hearing this, Madhavendrapuri Puri becomes very angry. And he says, you fool, just get out from here. I don't want to see your face. Here I am crying in separation from the Lord, and you are here telling me to remember Brahman. Just get out from here. I don't want to see your face also. And that particular aspect, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami mentions that when he was cursed by Madhavendrapuri Puri, he lost all his good qualities and he became speculative. He lost all his luster. He became disgraceful. It's said that when you lose the grace of the Lord, gone. When you displease him, you lose the grace of the God, of spiritual master. At that particular moment, Srila Ishwara Puri, performed very, very humble menial service to the Lord, to Sripad Madhavendrapuri Puri. And the glory is explained by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, that how Srila Ishwara Puri was doing such menial service that at every moment of time he would just, because he understood the nature of Sripad Madhavendrapuri Puri, what was he undergoing through. Because as a first class disciple, he knew that my spiritual master is in separation from Krishna. So he would go to him, he would just inspire him to chant the names of Krishna. Nirantara Krishna Nama Karaya Smarana. He would make him chant the holy names of Krishna. And Krishna Nama Krishna Lilya. Shunaya Anukshana. Pastimes of the Lord, the glories of the holy names of the Lord, he would just go on reminding him and then chanting about those glories that would give pleasure to Shripad Madhavendra Puri. And not only that, it is mentioned that Ishwapuri Goshani Kareya Shripad Sevana. He would always serve him under all circumstances. 24 hours he would serve Shripad Madhavendra Puri. And how? It said, Swahasta Karena Malamutradi Marjana. Swahasta Karena Malamutradi Marjana. That is, with his own hands, he would clean the urine and stool of his spiritual master. That was such a humble, menial service this person was doing, Ishwara Puri. One thing, on one hand, he was just regularly reciting the glories of the holy names, glories of the Lord's wonderful pastimes to the Shripad Madhavendra Puri, inspiring him to take shelter of the holy names, and at the same time doing everything, massaging his body, cleaning his body, and not only that, Malamutradi Marjana, which is a very, 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 very insignificant, in the sense, very, very low class service. Anybody can do that. And it's mentioned, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj was in one of his lecture mentioning that Shripad Madhavendra Puri had so many disciples. He had Advaita Acharya, Nityanand Prabhu, Brahmanand Bharati, Paramananda Puri, Shriranga Puri. But he said, because of this particular quality of Ishwar Puri doing humble menial service, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to accept initiation from him. And what a benediction Srila Ishwar Puri got? He got the benediction of Krishna Prem. Tushtayana Goshari. He said that Tushtahana Goshani. Kare Alingana. He said he just embraced Madhavendra Puri by his humble service. He embraced him. And then what he did? Varadila. He gave him a benediction. What is Varadila? What was that? Krishna Tomare. He says, Krishna Tomare Ahuka Prebadhana. He says, you will get wealth of Krishna. That was a benediction Shripad Madhavendra Puri gave to Ishwara Puri. That Hauka Premadhana. Krishna Tomare Hauka Premadhana. And Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami mentions in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sahiyeta Ishwara Puri Premere Sagara. Madhavendra Puri Haila Savara Nindakara. That means, with this, Ishwar Puri got this particular wealth of ocean of love for Krishna, Premera Sagara. And what did Madhavendra Puri get? Sarva Nindakara. He was all the time finding faults with the devotees. That was the curse that Madhavendra Puri inflicted on Ramchandra Puri. Sorry, Ramchandra Puri got this. Ramchandra Puri Ninda, Sarva Nindakara. But Ishwar Puri got this particular benediction of love of Krishna, the Krishna Prem. Why? Just because of this humble menial service that he performed. It is mentioned that a Vaishnava by nature is always under protection of his Supreme Personality of Godhead. But sometimes a Vaishnava becomes invalid by the grace of the Lord, just so that the disciples can serve him, render service for him. So it's not that, when a Vaishnava is that you are doing something, a favor for him. It's just an opportunity to serve that person. So we have to learn a particular lesson that if not for a direct service to the spiritual master, any one of us, like the disciples of the spiritual master are like the Angas of the Lord, of the spiritual master. So we have to have the same attitude towards each and every one of them amongst our God brothers or God sisters, that in whatever situation they are, we should be trying to extend ourselves to help them out in that situation. Whatever is necessary to render service, we should be able to do that. In fact, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, about 20 years back, we had a good fortune to just be with him in Kurukshetra, just about 6 of us. And Radhanath Swami Maharaj was speaking about his days in New Vrindavan when he was spending. And after talking for about a couple of hours, he finally concluded with this particular sentence, which is still ringing in my ears. He's saying, I am not impressed by anyone who does nice kirtans, or I am not impressed by anyone who speaks eloquently, or I am not impressed by somebody who dances very nicely. Radha Maharaj was saying, but I will bow down at the lotus feet of someone who has a humble service attitude. That was one of the first instructions that we received when we were there with him. He said, I will bow down at the feet of a devotee who is rendering humble, meaningless service. So that's the quality that Ishwara Puri had actually. He was doing such a humble, menial service that attracted the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to take initiation from Srila Ishwara Puri. Another aspect of Ishwara Puri is his unassuming form. In fact, after Sripad Madhavan Puri left his body, Ishwara Puri started traveling to various holy places. And wherever he would travel, he would never proclaim himself to be the one who actually served Sripad Madhavan Puri like that. And when he reached Sri Navadvip Dham, he actually stayed in the house of Gopinath Acharya. In fact, nobody knew who he was. He just happened to be a very simple person staying there and just performing his bhajan. That was his nature. In fact, when he went to Srila Advaita Acharya's house, Advaita Acharya was doing his puja. He was sitting there and just, observing Advaita Acharya performing the puja. And when Advaita Acharya would give classes, he would just sit there and absorb himself. But as the nature would be, it requires a Vaishnava to understand a Vaishnava. Advaita Acharya would just see him. He said, you don't look like a Mayavadi sannyasi. Are you someone great? Who are you? Please reveal. He did not. He said, I am a low class Shudra and I am just coming and want to take shelter of your lotus feet. In fact, Advaita Acharya was, his god brother. He said, I just want to take shelter of your lotus feet. That's why I came here. I am low born Shudra. But then Mukunda Dutt and others, they understood that this person is not an ordinary person. He is someone, some exalted Vaishnava. So what he did is that he started singing the glories of the Lord. And as soon as he started singing the glories of the Lord, Ishwara Puri, tears came in his eyes and he started trembling and he fell down on the ground unconscious. And then everyone could make out that he is none other than this exalted Ishwara Puri who had served Sripad Madhavan Puri. Because such types of symptoms would not come in anyone except someone who has connection with Sripad Madhavan Puri. That was his nature, his unassuming form, his unassuming nature. He would never proclaim himself to be someone who is great and powerful. Though he was a powerful sannyasi, he was a powerful acharya, he was a great scholar, but he never proclaimed himself to be like that. And he was very absorbed in glories of the holy name, hearing the glories of the holy name. That was his quality, that was his nature. While he was there in Shridham Mayapur, regularly he would just recite from the book which he had written, Krishna Lilamrit, at the house of Gopinath Acharya. And Gadadhar Pandit would always come there. And this would go on for many days. But it said that one day he happened to meet Nimai Pandit on the way. And Nimai Pandit was at that time a very, very great scholar. He defeated Keshav Kashmiri at that time. And when he saw him, he was trying to see who is this person, a divine person. He appears to be very grave and very divine. So he asked someone, he said, who is this person? And then somebody said, he is Nimai Pandit. Oh, he is Nimai Pandit. So I approached him, he said, please tell me, what is it that you are carrying, the manuscript? Where do you live? And he was so attracted to Nimai Pandit, then naturally, tears of love poured from his eyes. And Nimai Pandit, when he saw him, he invited him to his house. and he served him. His mother Sachimata prepared nice foodstuff for him and started serving him. And when he came to know, Ishwarpuri came to know that Nimai Pandit is a great scholar, every day he would recite from Krishna Lilamrit, and he would recite from Krishna Lilamrit. Nimai Pandit would regularly hear with intense absorption. And he said that both of them would exchange ecstatic symptoms at that particular moment. And one day, Nimai Pandit was approached by Ishwarpuri. He said that I heard that you are a scholar. Why don't you just, go through this book which I have written and find out if there is any fault in it. So Nimai Pandit said, any devotee who has taken shelter of the Lord, whatever he speaks, whatever he writes, whatever he does, everything is ordained by the Lord. He said, if anybody tries to find fault in such a devotee, he is a sinful wretch and he is a fool. Why? Because Krishna accepts the purpose in which it is offered. Krishna doesn't see the externals. Krishna sees the way in which something is offered to him. Whether something is mispronounced, misspelled, Krishna doesn't take that seriously. He just ignores that and accepts whatever is the purpose in which is offered. Because that's how Krishna is Bhava Grahi. He says, that is the nature of a devotee. He says, how can I find a fault like this? And he started quoting. He said, some illiterate person may just, sometimes address as Vishnaya. And a very intelligent person may say Vishnave, which is correct, but Vishnaya is wrong. But if someone who has that purpose of intent, a very pure intent, Krishna even accepts that word Vishnaya. So he says, who am I to do that? I am not qualified to just find this fault in you. And whatever you have written, whatever you have written is everything is perfect. I have to accept that. And when Ishwarpuri heard this, he became so happy to see this wonderful quality manifesting in Nimai Pandit. Because at that time, Nimai Pandit was a scholar. And he never exhibited these symptoms of a devotee. But then, when he mentions about this particular aspect about devotee, Ishwarpuri becomes very happy. He said, but still, you can just find out if there is something. So once, when he was reciting, Nimai Pandit found some fault and said, this is what it is, a mistake. So Ishwarpuri saw that mistake, just went to sleep in the night. He was remembering, meditating on that, and the next day morning, Ishwarpuri approached Nimai and said, I have been contemplating on this mistake which you mentioned or pointed out, but I feel that whatever I mentioned is right. It's not a mistake. So at that time, Nimai Pandit just accepted as it is. He accepted defeat at the hands of Srila Ishwarapuri. Because at that time, Nimai Pandit was the greatest scholar. He could defeat any argument to pieces. But at this particular moment of time, when Ishwarapuri said that it is not a mistake, I have been meditating on it, it's right, Nimai Pandit accepted it. Just like when Srila Prabhupada met his spiritual master for the first time, and when his spiritual master ordered him that you should go to the West and preach in the English language, Srila Prabhupada argued, he said, how can it be possible that we are under the British rule, and unless until we get freedom, how can we propagate this culture of Krishna consciousness to others? And Bhakti Siddhanta Thakur said, Krishna consciousness can't wait for anything. Politics and all this is just go on, it will change, but Krishna consciousness has to be spread. And when Prabhupada heard this, he mentions that I was defeated by my spiritual master. That is the thing. So this was his first encounter, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first encounter with Srila Ishwarapuri, where he became completely defeated by Srila Ishwarapuri. And that the seed was sown in his heart. And later on, when Ishwarapuri left that place, went to travel to different holy places, after some time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, decided to, engage on the Leela of chanting, or purporting or spreading the holy names, he went to Gaya to perform the Shraddha for his forefathers. And when he went to Gaya, he went to various places to offer pindas. And then he went to the place of Vishnupada, that is where the lotus feet of Lord Vishnu is there. And when he started hearing the Brahmanas chanting the glories of the lotus feet of the Lord, he just went into ecstasy and became unconscious. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the followers, were Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went into this mood of unconsciousness. And that time, it said that Ishwar Puri also happened to reach that place. And through other devotees understood what has happened. And when he regained consciousness, Ishwar Puri and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they embraced, and tears of love poured from both of their eyes. And after some time, it is said that Chaitanya started glorifying Ishwar Puri. He said that now my purpose of coming to Gaya is fulfilled. Why? Because I have gained the darshan of your lotus feet. It is said that when one offers pinda in these holy places, one's forefathers are delivered, but then when one takes darshan or shelter of a lotus feet, millions and millions of forefathers are delivered. That's the power of taking shelter of a lotus feet. All the holy tirthas are present at your lotus feet. And he prays to Ishwar that please let me take shelter of a lotus feet so I can get the same nectar of the love of God from you. And that's when he begs Srila Ishwar Puri to give him initiation, in fact. And there's a nice description in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Prakashan Saraswati Thakur, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes and encounters Prakashan Saraswati, because when he went to Varanasi, he's just chanting and dancing, and Prakashan Saraswati Thakur with his 60,000 disciples, he rebukes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then an arrangement is done where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu meets Prakashan, and Prakashan Saraswati Thakur is asking, why are you are a sannyasi, and what are you doing here chanting the holy names at this place? And that's where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami very, very, very elaborately he just explains, he is approaching his spiritual master Ishwar Puri and taking initiation from him. So very nice point that he is mentioning how when Ishwar Puri, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells Prakashan Saraswati that when I approached my spiritual master for initiation, my spiritual master told me that Murkha Tomi, Tomara Naika Vedant Adhikara. You are a fool, it's not your job to study Vedanta philosophy. Krishna mantra sada japa, yahi mantra sar. He says, chant the holy names of Krishna, and this is the essence of all Vedics. And then he mentions that, simply by chanting, Ishwar Puri tells him that simply by chanting the holy names of Krishna, one ceases all material things and then comes face to face with the Lord. So these two things happen when one chants the holy names of Krishna. That one puts an end to all material existence and then one comes face to face with the Lord, and says that the principle, the religious principle is chanting the holy name in this world, age of Kali Yuga. And that is the essence of all Vedic hymns. And he quotes from Brihad Narayan Purana, Hare Nam, Hare Nam, Hare Nam Eva Kevalam, Kalau Nastyava, 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 Ganyanta. That in the age of Kali Yuga, there is no other way but to chant the holy names, chant the holy names, and chant the holy names. So he gives him the mantra to chant, the Hare Krishna mantra to chant, Ishwar Puri. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tells that I received this mantra from my spiritual master, and when I started chanting, he said something happened. He said, I became mad. I don't know what's happening to me. I started laughing, I started dancing, crying, singing like a madman. And when I was chanting, I was thinking that, maybe it's covering all my spiritual knowledge. And when I was completely mad like this, Chaitanya said, I decided to submit myself to my spiritual master. So he went to his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri, and says, Kiba mantra dila tumi. Kiba tara bal. He says, Kiba mantra dila tumi kosani, Kiba tara bal. Mantra japila pagala, karila pagala. He says, I am chanting this mantra, and as I am chanting the mantra, I am becoming mad and mad. What's happening, my dear spiritual master? Please tell me. And his spiritual master is saying that, he is laughing when he hears this from Ishwara Puri, from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he is saying, that is the nature of this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, that whenever anyone chants this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it has to bring these ecstatic symptoms of love for Krishna. That's the nature. And he goes on to explain that, there are 4 Purusharthas: Dharma, Artha, Kama and Moksha. The 4 goals of life. But above that is love for Krishna. He says, when somebody takes shelter and there is love for Krishna, then these 4 goals of life, they appear very insignificant as a straw on a street. And he says that on a platform of bhava, that dharma, artha, kama, moksha, they appear like a small drop. The pleasure, apart from dharma, artha, kama, moksha, is like a small drop in presence of a ocean. So he's telling Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that you have got this. You are very fortunate because you have received this particular love for Krishna. He says the conclusion of all Vedic scriptures is to awaken the dormant love for Krishna. And I consider you fortunate to have that. He's mentioning to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ishwara Puri. And then he goes on to explain that how it is a characteristics of love of God that it induces the transcendental symptoms from within a person, so much so that he becomes greedy to achieve the lotus feet of the Lord. That's the character of this particular symptom of love of God. And what happens? Then one actually develops that love of God, he starts jumping, laughing, crying, singing. Then he develops the Ashtavikara, that is perspiration, trembling, tears, hair standing on end. All those things are manifested. And that's when a devotee actually floats in an ocean of love of God by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And then Ishwara Puri tells Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that I am very happy to see that you have achieved your goal of life of attaining pure love for Krishna. And he says, by this you have pleased me, and you not only have pleased me, I become highly obliged to you. See, just see the humility of Srila Ishwara Puri. Ishwara Puri is saying that I am obliged to you because you have got this pure love for Krishna. And I am pleased with you. Because Ishwara Puri knew that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And he has come here to propagate these holy names to each and every one all over the world. And then finally he gives him the instruction. He says, my instruction to you is that just continue on chanting, glorifying and performing Sankirtan with all your associates, and not only that, spread these holy names to each and everyone all over the world. So this particular instruction Srila Ishwara Puri gave Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts this, and then he performs the Sankirtan movement from then onwards. So he tells Prakashan Saraswati, this is the reason why I have been chanting. But different things to understand, or different aspects, how we should understand, what we should know. That here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, though being a great scholar, he did not propagate this chanting of the holy name till he received that instruction from his spiritual master, Ishwara Puri. Making us aware that whatever we do only when one is instructed by one spiritual master. We can't do any activity without the blessings of a spiritual master, or without the orders of a spiritual master. So Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through this example showed that after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructed by Srila Ishwar Puri, he then propagated this chanting of the holy names. Till that time he did not do this. And Ishwar Puri here is qualified, he just gave this mantra to him. He became very happy when Chaitanya Baba exhibited his symptoms, and he gave this instruction to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to spread the holy names all over the world. That was his order to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he took this instruction to heart, and it said that when he was going back, he went to this place of Kumarhata. This is the birthplace of Srila Ishwara Puri. In fact, it is said that while I was in Gaya also, he actually cooked for Ishwara Puri. He actually served him. He actually performed menial service to Ishwara Puri. When Ishwara Puri came to his house, he was cooking for himself and he offered to Ishwara. He said, Ishwara Puri mentioned, he said, but then this particular preparation is only for one person. He says, please take it. If you take it, then I will be very pleased. And Ishwara Puri honored that. And he said that when Ishwara Puri was honoring it, Lakshmi Devi herself came and cooked for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time, simultaneously when Ishwara Puri was honoring the prasad over there. But then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Gaya, he went to this place of Kumarat, the birthplace of Srila Ishwara Puri. And there he did something which is quite unconventional. He just went there, rolled in the dust of this place, and he just took some dust in his hand and tied it in his upper cloth. And every day he would eat the dirt which had been collected from the birthplace of his spiritual master. And said that when he was there, he would have tears would flow from his eyes, tears of gratitude, tears of love would flow from his eyes and would wet that area. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this place, millions of followers of the Lord, the Gaudiya Vaishnava, they came, they started collecting the dust from this place. And slowly a pond was created. And that pond, mixed with the tears of the Lord, came to be known as Chaitanya Doha. Lord Chaitanya is created by the tears from Lord Chaitanya and the dust which has been taken. So His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj, when we were in Kumarata, he was mentioning that one should learn from this example that how one should always revere the place of birth of one's spiritual master, and roll here in the dust. He said you can roll here, you can just take the dust, you can eat, and meditate on how much love Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had for his spiritual master, Srila Ishwar Puri. That's the type of a love that one has to have for his spiritual master. So, on this holy day of Srila Ishwar Puri's disappearance, we can only pray that we can just follow in the footsteps. Whatever teachings that Ishwar Puri has given us through his example, that we can imbibe that in our lives, that we can be, whatever situation we are, we can perform humble menial services in that mood. His Holiness Radha Swami Maharaj always would emphasize on this particular principle, that Trinadapi Sunichena Tarore Paseshna Amanina Manina Kirtana Sadari. Only in this situation then we can really receive these particular blessings. We are not on that level, but we can follow in the footsteps and just aspire to just obtain that particular quality of being humble in every situation, whatever service that we do. And it's been observed that whenever somebody does this humble service, definitely Krishna's blessings are there. One has to in his life has to perform proactively such humble services. I just was remembering two instances, that when we had Tinkerbell High School here, that time there was no marble flooring down, all muddy, and the students would come outside and they would have the drill and play, and we would share the premise with the school. And someone threw some dirt just at the entrance, and the principal came and started shouting at Radha Gopinath Prabhu. What Radha Gopinath did, he just quietly took a broom and started sweeping very nicely. He never did anything, he just doing something, and that really impressed me. I was just thinking that he never justified, said just took this, and it was almost clean for about half an hour, the whole thing. And the principal just shouting and shouting, and he just cleaning. Such an attitude is there when, this one example I'm just giving, this just came in my mind, and as we have a Seva Sthan, where sick people are taken care of, a very important service also. And I would say Radhika Vallabh Prabhu, previous years, so many years, he would be just doing that humble service, just taking care of all the sick people. I know this because he would sometimes call me for some services there. Throughout day and night he would do this service. Many people may be doing it, I'm just remembering whatever I'm just doing. A scholar doing something humble menial service. So something like this inspires us. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.